Hi friends, LinkedIn is a powerful tool for job seekers, but unfortunately it is not optimized by most of us to deliver optimal performance. In this video, we are going to see how we can use LinkedIn to get our dream job. It is not going to be easy. It is not some get-rich scheme. It requires some level of discipline and persistence from you. But if you follow these instructions here, you will start to see results in 1 to 2 months, which is 30 to 60 days. And yes, it doesn't mean you will have to stop after 60 days. It's just that it won't require so much time and effort after initial setup. So let's start. And yes, before we start, like and subscribe to this channel so that you continue to receive useful content like this. Alright, so whenever you visit any LinkedIn profile, what is the first thing you see? The profile picture and the headline. So make sure your headline is optimized. So it is specific and keyword rich. So if you want to be a data scientist, make sure it is reflected there. Now you can say I'm a data scientist, which is more like quite generic, or you can say transforming companies, or you can further get into your skills or domain and highlight that. For example, if you are into web analytics or providing personalized content to the user of any particular app or website, you can use your headline to indicate that. So instead of just mentioning data scientist, you can mention something like leading personalized user experience with data. Something like that. You can use ChatGPT or some tool to generate your specific headlines, but make sure your headline clearly articulates your value. It's very important. It is used to articulate your value, and if you are not doing it, then you are losing big time. So make sure your headline is optimized. And like I said, don't mention generic words like business analyst, data scientist, project manager, but try to get deeper into your specific domain. So if you're a scrum master, you might be managing some team in some specific domain. It could be banking, it could be manufacturing. Highlight that. And then of course use some free tool like ChatGPT or Bard to get your headlines. I'll recommend ChatGPT. I think it is way better than Bard, but feel free to play with different tools and come up with an appropriate headline. Then of course your profile picture. As we know, a picture speaks 1,000 words. Use a clear and professional headshot. A friendly smile can make you appear approachable. So again, no need to spend a lot of time and money on this picture. Just use your cell phone and take a nice, good picture against a white or bright background. That's it. You could wear shirt, t-shirt, anything you like. It's just that make sure it is formal or something which is what we call business casuals. I want to recommend ethnic wears or something like that. But yes, your profile picture should be there and it should be professional. I've seen a lot of profiles without any pictures there, which is really kind of off to the recruiters who might be looking at your profile. Then you have to use a custom URL. So you can edit your LinkedIn profile URL like this. The only thing I would recommend is that beware when you make this change. For example, if your existing link is already there in your CV and you have submitted your CV somewhere, then the HR from those companies might try to access it. They might try to look at your profile. In that case, if you change your URL now, then they won't be able to access it. So make sure that it is not in transit. So of course, if you are planning to start applying to the jobs, I'll say this is the right time. But if you have already given your link to someone, then you might wait a little and change your URL when it is safe to do. Don't do it in transition, but make sure you do that in near future. And then of course your summary. So summary is very important. Go to tools like ChatGPT or Bard. Enter a proper prompt there. When I say proper prompt, I mean provide proper background of your profile, who you are. So you can mention I'm a data scientist or a scrum master managing a team which is developing an analytics project. I'm using so and so technology. My day-to-day job is this. Describe your profile and then ask it to generate a summary. It will give you a proper summary. Copy that, put that into Grammarly or some tool, because remember a lot of time ChatGPT or Bard, they produce content, text with lot of grammatical issues. So it's always important to check such content for any grammatical errors, especially on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a professional tool. It's a formal tool. There might be many people who might be interested in your profile, interested in hiring you, looking at your profile. And if there are spelling mistakes or grammatical issues, they may not like it. It is okay to have these issues on YouTube. I can speak anything, even if there are some issues. If you are getting value out of this video, you can still go ahead and watch it. But if you are looking to hire me, especially for middle or senior level position, you would not like to hire someone who is having incorrect statements, incorrect spellings in their summary. So make sure you get the content from ChatGPT, but then put it in Grammarly or some other tool to check for any issues with the syntax. Then detail out your experience. Your experience speaks volume about who you are. So talk about your past roles, responsibilities, and highlight achievements in the experience section. Break it down into bullet point. Generic paragraphs won't help you, so make sure to use bullet points for clarity and readability. But again, make sure it is keyword rich. So this is where you need to talk about your skills in general. So if you're a data scientist or a scrum master or a business analyst, you can talk about exact activities or tasks which you performed as part of that role. For example, managed requirement gathering or did requirement gathering, worked with the diverse stakeholders to collect requirements, elicit requirements, ran brainstorming sessions, something like that. Try to use action verb here. Again, use ChatGPT if you're not sure how to put your information. So if you have an existing CV, simply copy paste your CV in the ChatGPT and ask it to modify that content with action verbs. So it will give you that content and you can simply copy paste it after doing the proofreading through Grammarly or some tool. And then when we come to skills and endorsement, now endorsement is something which is very important, and a lot of time it's more like give and take on the LinkedIn. So you endorse someone in your friend or your colleague, co-workers, and then they endorse you back. So you can directly reach out to these people and ask them for their endorsement. In terms of skills, let me show you a neat skill, how you can get the desired skills for your LinkedIn profile. So if you go to LinkedIn, if you look at this profile here, you will have an option for more. When you click on more, it will say build a resume. So when you click on build a resume, it will give you these two options. I'm just going to use create from profile. Now, when I click on create a profile or create from profile, it will ask what is my desired job title. So for example, let's say I want to become product manager. It could be anything. It could be business analyst. It could be data scientist, anything you want. Simply put it here. Now select the appropriate level. So here if you see, I have director of product management, senior product management, or other manager. So to keep it generic and relatable for most people, let's say I select product manager. Now when I click on apply, it will analyze my existing profile. Now if you look here, it has given the skills which it was able to find in my profile. But it has also given me additional skills which are not there but should be there. So product development, data analysis, SQL, market research. So whatever job title you select, LinkedIn will suggest keywords which are required or popular for that particular job title. And it's a very nice way of getting keywords for your profile. So do this, then get these keywords and add them in your skills if something is missing. Be very clear about it, okay? You need to make sure that these skills are there in your profile. That's why you have to be crystal clear about the job title which you are targeting. You can't target 5 different titles here. If you want to become data scientist, you need to target that. If you want to become a scrum master, you need to target that. Now there is one option. You can create 5 different CVs with different title. But problem is you only have one profile on LinkedIn. Now if I get different keywords for product manager, program manager, data scientist and put everything in my CV, chances are it won't be optimized for any one particular job profile, which means that recruiters will miss it. So that's why be very careful. Target one particular profile and go for that. And just like endorsements, you have recommendations. So reach out to your colleagues, managers, teachers, and seek their recommendations. So this is your profile section. Make sure that you have implemented all these steps mentioned in this video. Once you have done it, you will have a properly optimized LinkedIn profile. So now you are all set with your profile. But is your work done? The answer is no. Your initial setup is done. Of course, you'll continue to evolve, you'll continue to change your target for the job title. So you will continue to update your skills or anything else which is required to be updated. It's just that make sure that you are using proper keywords to make those changes. So your profile, and one thing which I missed earlier is your background image. When you are optimizing your profile, make sure that you have a custom background. So you can go to some free site like Canva and get a custom background image. You just have to search LinkedIn background and it will give you a variety of options. You can see mine is quite simple. Similarly, if you want, you can select something simpler, minimalistic, or something more flashy, but I won't say don't go for an overkill. It should look professional. So make sure you are using a custom background with something to highlight your USP. That's it. Don't go for any overkill. No need to put a lot of characters, emojis, and all those kind of things there. Okay. Make sure you are using a proper profile picture along with a custom background. Okay. So moving forward, now if we look at our profile is okay, but what next? And this is where you have to start engaging with people. So now there are two things. One is where you should be making posts. Now you need to do two things. First is posting content on LinkedIn. If you're a job seeker, you don't have to post on a daily basis. So, but have some kind of discipline around it. I'll say maybe weekly post should be enough. So identify your target job title, which you have already done when you were updating your skills. Now study about that domain. You don't have to write post talking about basic things unless you are talking about something like AI, generative AI. Now, because generative AI is quite new, if you are talking about the science behind it, the technology, diffusion model, transformer models, and those things, then you are highlighting your knowledge about them. But if you are a project manager or a business analyst, you shouldn't be talking about how you do, or rather what is requirement gathering or what is a user story. Maybe it could be helpful for average people, but it won't be very attractive for a HR or a senior manager, simply because anybody with some academic background in these fields can write these posts. It won't reflect your experience. So if I mention what is a user story on Google or ChatGPT, it can give me what is a user story. Now I can simply copy paste that in LinkedIn. Everybody knows that. So if I just talk about what is a user story, it won't add any value. Of course, new users of LinkedIn or the college freshers, they might still find it useful and you might get a lot of followers. But if your target is to attract senior level management or HR personnels to hire you, then you need to come up with something which reflects your USP, especially for middle or senior level positions. So instead of talking about user stories, you can talk about how do you build applications, what kind of things you need to keep in mind, how do you incorporate design thinking in whatever you are trying to do. So even if you're a data scientist, but if you're targeting middle level position, it's very important to highlight your domain knowledge. That is key. So if you just talk about Python, it won't make any sense. You need to talk about how you are using data science to improve the business, get more customers, or reduce cost, those kind of things. If you are a project manager, then it's less about the kind of projects you have delivered, but more about the kind of value you have delivered. So instead of talking about how do you manage a project, talk about what kind of values you have delivered in terms of learning. So you can frame the post in a way where you can say that, well, if you are trying to do, let's say, reduce costs for your operations, these are the things you should keep in mind when you are coming up with the strategy, and around these KPIs or success metrics, do this or do that. Idea here is how do you articulate your knowledge, your skills. So be very clear how do you engage on it. So that is one thing which is around posting on LinkedIn. But you can't come up with interesting content on a daily basis. So that's why I'm saying keep it weekly or bi-weekly. Use free tools like ChatGPT or Canva to get images and those things. Now, the second part of it, which is again related to engaging on LinkedIn, is commenting or sharing content. Because a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of institutions, Harvard, McKinsey, all of them are constantly posting useful content on LinkedIn. So instead of coming up with your own content, you can use that content to increase your presence on LinkedIn. So if McKinsey has came up with some study or posted something which is relevant to your profile or what you do, it's a very good idea to go out there, post your comment or reaction to it. And when you're commenting on it, just don't mention like things like, well, it's a good comment, thanks for sharing and all that. If the post from McKinsey, Harvard, or any other institution is talking about communication, people management, leadership, digital transformation, data science, AI, have a detailed comment on it. If not 300 words, maybe 50 words, 100 words, but something which is useful to the reader of the post. So your comment in that case will reflect your value. And there's one option on LinkedIn that when you comment on any post, you can post that or rather repost the original post on your profile. So you can share that content, add your comments there, detailed comments there, and repost on your profile. So it's a nice way of quickly finding out nice and interesting content for your LinkedIn presence. And make sure you are consistent. So that's why I said identify a frequency. Could be weekly, bi-weekly. I'll prefer weekly because then you are having 4 posts in a month. So it is not going to stress out your system. It is not going to stress out your schedule, but you'll be active. Because when hiring manager search for a particular keyword on LinkedIn, which will be usually a profile or a title or a skill, LinkedIn will usually return the profiles which are well optimized and active on the platform. So if you are active on the platform, your profile is well optimized, chances of getting noticed by these recruiters goes significantly high. So that's why you not only need to optimize your profile, but also be active on LinkedIn. And to keep getting this content, to keep yourself updated, you can follow industry leaders, companies or institutions, join groups on LinkedIn. That is a good way of not just learning and upgrading your skills, but also you can interact with these groups or institutions, repost them, and manage your engagement on the platform. And then, of course, there are additional tools like LinkedIn Learning, which you can use. But again, it's a paid option, so I won't say it's a must-have. It's like Udemy, YouTube. If you are using any platform to learn, I won't say LinkedIn Learning is a must-have. And then if you are looking for jobs, then you can use Open to Work feature. So you can target job titles, location, etc. using this option. So it's a very good way of showing that you are open to work. And this is going to be a big thing because if you're not open to work, then even if your profile is being returned at the top and a lot of recruiters are finding it, they are not going to contact you. So make sure that you are using this Open to Work feature. Okay. And if you have any specific questions, then please leave your comments or reach out to me through LinkedIn. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and connect with me through LinkedIn so that we can always interact whenever you have any questions. Okay. Thank you very much.